A former Los Angeles elementary school teacher has been charged with, or I should say, has pleaded guilty to feeding his students semen-laced cookies. Now, this clown by the name of Mark Berndt had taken pictures of these students, and they were questionable pictures that the person developing alerted authorities to, because he felt that they were, dangerous and that this teacher was possibly sexually harassing or assaulting these kids. After that happened, authorities went to go investigate his classroom, and they found a spoon with semen in it. And then they realized that he had been blindfolding these kids, and of course some of those pictures depicted that, the blindfolded children, and then he would feed them these semen-laced cookies as they were blindfolded. So I'm glad he pleaded guilty, and he will probably be behind bars for the rest of his life.
So he's going to spend 25 years in prison, and we'll see. He might get out one day, but the most shocking part of this, most shocking part of the story is the semen-laced cookies. Let's be honest about that. But the second part was like, who develops pictures anymore? Like, what is this, 1987, right? I don't know why he did that. Maybe he wanted to get caught, right? And look, it's the kind of story that makes everybody's blood boil,
Absolutely.
Because, it's not, look, kids, obviously, with kids, you get even more angry. And it was such a particularly weird and vile way of violating those kids, right? And it's just, you know what it is? The extra layer of it is that the kids are innocent and defenseless. They don't know any better. And this is the person who's supposed to be teaching them about the world.
I know.
And then he does this. That's why everybody who hears the story, it's like has a burning hot hatred for this guy.
There are some instances of sexual assault where you don't see it coming, you can't prevent it, and there's no one to blame except for the suspect. But in this case, authorities and administrators at the school received reports as early as the 1990s indicating that he might be sexually assaulting students, but they didn't do enough to investigate it. So he's been doing this for decades, presumably. And that's the kind of thing that frustrates me the most, because oftentimes we will cover stories, whether it's Penn State or situations within the Catholic Church, where there's like molestation and sexual assault happening on a regular basis, and people have been alerted by it or of it, and nothing happens. Not an investigation. No one really does anything to make sure or ensure that it's not actually happening. So that's what I worry about the most when I read stories like this.
So because of that, the school district has already settled 63 cases relating to this teacher. 71 are pending, but here's the thing that'll put you in an even worse mood. It turns out the school district had to pay Berndt $40,000 to drop his appeal of his suspension. So they paid him $40,000 even after the arrest. Oh, that made me so angry. Well, luckily he won't get much use for it now that he's facing 25 years in prison.